But what is going on, everybody? In today's video, we are going to go over three stocks that are easily available to absolutely every single person that you can sell covered calls on or sell cash secured puts on. And we're going to explain it and why I think these three are super easy to do. With that being said, let's go ahead, cue the intro, and jump into this one. Okay, guys, so for the very first one, we're going to go over a stock that most people hate. Most people don't like it. They don't think it's a good investment. There's a bunch of different things to kind of uncover here. I'm going to go ahead and let you know I'm running the wheel strategy on this stock. I am not a financial advisor. I run my own money. I don't run anybody else's money. And I think that's the best part about my money is there's nothing without risk. And not to say that risk is bad or risk is good, but there are certain stocks like a Ford that if you look at the history of this stock, it stays around the same range unless you have a COVID, which I know is a bad word everywhere, but it's very true. So I'm okay with this. Now, do I like every aspect of their business? No, but Ford Blue is doing extremely well now and is something that I'm keeping an eye on. Now, was I buying up here at the very highs? No. I did get assigned down here in the lows, and then I also was able to sell on a covered call and get executed up here in the 16s. I left it alone while it was up and around the 17. I thought it was way too high of a valuation. I made some money. I moved on. That's the number one thing. So Ford is one of these that is a company that has, it's not anything amazing, guys. Just remember that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pull where we can go into more financials. So this is something, and you should look at every single stock, is these evaluations and what they're doing. You know, PEs, again, I like quarterly a lot better. Price to sales, price to earnings. And again, what I don't like, and you should be looking at annually and quarterly, is when you're looking at right in here and profit and revenue and stuff like that. Quarterly, you can see here, they've made a big jump. Now, it's only 5.89% net margin. Now, why is that though? I think that's where you really need to learn how to look at a statement sheet, understand cash flows, things like that. You can go in here, it'll tell you. My biggest thing here is I don't really want it from investing activity, and I don't really want it from financing activity. I want to know operating activity. And this is one of those things where you really start to learn where the actual money is coming from. So you can see we are building back up. Quarterly, not as well, but there are things in here. Like Ford doesn't have a horrible balance sheet. And in the video, if you are new to the channel, there is a free, 100% free, cost you nothing PDF on how to sell options below. All you gotta do is click the link and get your free PDF. With that being said, let's get back to the video. General. So I'm gonna go back into here, and another way that you can look at this is EBITDA. It's pretty simple. It's nothing crazy, but you're gonna see that they've had a positive EBITDA for quite a while. Their revenues aren't technically getting killed or anything. It's not fantastic, but if you look at annually, revenues are growing again, which is fantastic. Again, 2019, 2020, you had to put an asterisk next to that. But here, revenue top line is growing. Gross profits, not fantastic. And again, this is something where you start to look at quarterly. They're starting to rebound in this area. So quarter over quarter, definitely had a lot better of growth. And again, coming down here to looking at EBITDA is something that I'm definitely looking at. Now, net income does suck on this, but again, they're Ford and they do make money actually. So that is something to keep, and they're investing in the future. I don't love their EV play and all of that, but this is one, again, we don't need a lot of capital to do. They're trading at $13.36. I think I sold a $13 put option for like 14 or 15 cents. So I got $14 or $15 for every $1,300 that I put at risk. Not a bad trade. Not an overall amazing trade or anything like that, but not a bad trade. So we're going to go on to the next one, and I don't even have it up on here anymore. I'm not against this trade, SoFi. My wife had bought some. She may even still hold some. I've owned quite a few for chunks of time. It got up into the 30s range. We all thought that that was very rich, but it depends. Are you holding this forever? Are you running the wheel strategy on it? Things like that. There's a lot that goes into picking these things. And again, the number one thing, you guys are going to learn this, I'm doing this on every single company, is I want to know the overview, guys. And if you look at this, guys, this is a fantastic overview, by the way. When you see revenue growing like this, especially on an annual basis, that is a massively growing company. Now, do companies grow like that forever? No, that's something that you got to be wary of in these positions. But again, doing very well. Even quarterly, we're still doing well. Again, I like SoFi, and financially, they're pretty solid here. EBITDA, and I like their CEO. I think management is a big thing. I come from an operating background, so having good management is something that not a lot of people like really look into, but is something that I look into quite a bit. Because do I like the CEO? Do I like their game plans? What is their past? You know, are they betting on the stock? Are they buying stock? Are they executing their options? Those are things to look for as well. It's a little bit deeper. Maybe we'll get into that in a different video. But once again, quarterly EBITDA is continuously doing well. We can go over EBITDA, but it's basically like operating income as well, cash flow thing. It's not actual cash flow, but again, we can get into that in a whole different video. Balance sheet is something, again, you guys should be definitely looking into as well. And then again, cash flow. This is something that I'm always looking at. Cash flow from operating activities, not investing activities, because they're always investing. There's always CapEx. There's always things like that. Don't like it. Financing activities. I don't really like this either. They can raise, they can do different things. I don't really care about that. I want to know cash flow from operating activities. This is the one thing that I've always been interested in. Again, you can see this is growing. Now, the past couple quarters, it has been down a little bit, but I think that's all of the finance things. So we're going to go in here, get rid of this pop-up. Again, so now in order to do this, you really only need $1,600 because, again, SoFi here, if you're looking at it, it's trading at $18.24 a share. In order to sell an option or sell a covered call, I need to have basically the amount to cover all 100 shares. So either I own 100 shares below this, or maybe even above it, and I'm selling options up in here, or I'm selling cash secured puts below it, hoping that I get a better deal on it. Now, as you can see, SoFi has kind of found a range here that they feel pretty safe in. So to me, is a $16 put option. The sell is not a bad idea. And I don't really know where these are at right now on the options chain. Yahoo Finance, again, they'll give you everything you really want if you really want to look at this. So with SoFi Technologies, obviously they're a fintech. We are going to go down in here to options, maybe if this thing tells us. Okay, guys, so you guys can see this. If you're getting $1,600, you're getting about 8 to 9 cents probably on here. Selling a put option here. Out of the money, obviously, closer you get into the money, the 16 range, 8 cents, so $8. Per that, you probably get $1,700, $15, $16. Again, this is after hours, so this is not 100% perfectly accurate. But again, another one that I've ran, a lot of other people that I know have ran this one as well. So there's always that one. And then the other one that I am very, very familiar with, and I run this every single week now, and I have absolutely loved, is Amazon. You guys can see I kind of have this drawn out here. Not something that you really have to care that much about. I wouldn't really pay that much attention to it. Their financials are fantastic. Everybody uses Amazon. We have Amazon boxes show up at my house every other day. Some of mine, some of my wife's. I live outside of Houston, and there's still basically the same day or next day delivery, depending on when you order it. I love this stock. Again, their web portal and everything like that that they're doing well. They're in everything. They're in data centers. They're making the whole play. Bezos still has a ton of shares. The overall company is absolutely fantastic. They have good financials. They're still growing. I did buy on a dip very well. I've had options taken away from me, basically meaning called away from me, where I made the money from the option and the spread of it going up. Currently, I'm in this position right here where I bought all 100 shares again. I sold a put, got it signed, because I did it like right at the money because I wanted the shares and I wanted that juicy premium. Guys, this one though is one that you can do. Now, if I want assigned shares, I do it the very next day, basically, or the closest date that I can get to it. So I earn some premium and I think I'm going to grab it. The other one that I do as well is I sell weekly covered calls on it. I'm okay with being assigned. I can roll out of it and everything. That's a whole different video as well. But this is one that, I will sell a 245 or a 247 call on this because the premium, I think the premium that I collected this week was like $320 for that. Now, did I put up $24,000 of collateral for that or cash stock? Sure. But do I also think that it's going to continue to go up? Yep. And I think I'm going to continue to sell premium, and I'm going to continue to get a weekly paycheck every single week off of this stock. I am yet to lose money on this stock, knock on wood, but it is the single most used strategy in my arsenal. I don't even do credit. I could do a credit spread and do this a whole lot simpler or easier and less capital intensive. I don't want to do that. I want to own the stock. I want to own the stock. I'm fine with that. I want the equity. I'm good with that. That's why I love the wheel strategy. And if I'm doing this on bigger accounts, same thing I do with SPY. Again, I'm running this exact same strategy on SPY as well. These ones are normally monthly, but sometimes weekly. Again, with the market being up so high right now, sometimes I will sell a monthly put, hoping that I can get further down and out here. Doesn't mean that always the case. It'll depend on it. I only sell on red days if I'm selling a put. That's just me. When it comes down to the covered call situation, that's a little bit different. I'm trying to get premium. I'm trying to get, again, this is an income strategy, just so you're fully aware. But those are 3 stocks that you can use every single week, or no matter kind of where your budget is, as long as you have $1,000, basically, you can get into these. Now, again, my sweet spot for a lot of stocks is about 45 days on selling options, especially SPY. That's why I say roughly a month, but it's actually about 45 days, about a month and a half. I do extremely well on these. Same with Amazon. Amazon, if you want some of the bigger players that I do this on as well, other than smaller ones, because again, I don't really do as much smaller ones, but I do have a smaller account that I like to play with. I like to continue to challenge myself is Amazon, Google, Apple, SPY, different stocks like that are absolutely amazing for this strategy and will produce you income. You don't actually need millions of dollars to be able to retire. I think that's something that people don't understand. If you learn these basic strategies, don't worry about the taxes and stuff like that yet. Worry about learning how to do it, make money doing it first, and then get a really good CPA is my highest advice possible once you actually make money, and they will walk you through the rest of this. They can teach you a lot of techniques and a lot of different things that I don't feel comfortable talking about because I'm not the most talented at that scenario, but I'm very good at making income. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.